Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sudarshan Jaya Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Srila Prabhupada की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on the 5th canto, chapter number 12, text number 15. So if you have, you can see the screen, great. But if you cannot see the screen, especially in the back, you can bring it up on your phones. So it's Srimad Bhagavatam 5.12.15. Samam smritir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami Samam smriti mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami Samam smritir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami. Please chant. Samasmitir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchanano prabhava jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami Samasmitir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami Samasmriti mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami. Vaishnavis. Samam smritir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivrtascharami. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Devi Sudarshan ki jai, Shri Gauritai ki jai. Anyone, one more Vaishnava would like to chant? Samam smritir mrigadehe pivira Krishnarchana prabhavano jahati Atho aham jana sangada sango Vishankamano avivtascharami. Let's read the word by word translations. Sa, that, mam, me, smriti, remembrance of the activities of my previous life. Mragadehe, in the body of a deer. Api, although, Veera, O great hero, Krishna Archana Prabhava, which appeared because of the influence of sincere service to Krishna. No Jahati, did not leave. Atho, therefore, Aham, I, Janasanga, from the association of ordinary men. Asangaha, completely detached. Vishankamanaha, being afraid. Avivritaha, unobserved by others. Charami, I go here and there. Let's repeat the translation also. My dear heroic king, due to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life, even while in the body of a deer. Because I am aware of the fall down in my past life, I always keep myself separate from the association of ordinary men. Being afraid of their bad, materialistic association, I wander alone, unnoticed by others. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya, Bhagavad Gita 240. It is certainly a great fall to go from human life to animal life. But in the case of Bharat Maharaj or any devotee, devotional service to the Lord never goes in vain. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajatyante kalevaram. At the time of death, by nature's law, the mind is absorbed in a certain type of thinking. This may lead one to animal life. Yet for a devotee, there is no loss. Even though Bharat Maharaj received the body of a deer, he didn't forget his position. Consequently, in the body of a deer, he was very careful to remember the cause of his downfall. As a result, he was given a chance to be born in a family of very pure Brahmanas. Thus, his service to the Lord never went in vain. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Mandamatirgati Matsarvasva Padambojau Radha Madan Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastho Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtha Livisyevimanao Sparami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshivadattadastitah Karshanvenu Swanir Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunah Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सामां स्मृतिर्मृगदेहे पिवीर, कृष्णार्चन प्रभवानुजहाति। अतोऽहं जनसंगादसंगो विशङ्कमानो अविवृतश्चरामि। My dear heroic king, to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life, even while in the body of a deer. Because I am aware of the fall down of my past life, I always keep myself separate from the association of ordinary men. Being afraid of their bad materialistic association, I wander alone, unnoticed by others. Okay. So very quick context, we'll breeze through like about chapters 4 through 12 in a very short, in a couple of minutes, okay, just so that we can remember where we are in the Bhagavatam. It helps us a lot. The context is that Maharaj Bharat was the son of Rishabhadeva, a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Rishabhdev gave really wonderful instructions to his sons. Rishabhdev has 100 sons, 100 sons, of whom Bharat Maharaj was the eldest. So Bharat Maharaj took those instructions very, very seriously, especially the instructions that begin with Naham, what's that? Deho bhajam niloke kashtan kamana hareti vidbhujame. He took that very seriously, and he became such an amazing king that the name of the planet changed from Ajana Varsha to Bharat Varsha. So he was such a famous king. And while he was still in full faculties, he was not old and his teeth were not falling out and didn't have gray hair and he didn't have any kind of infirmity. He had no problems. There was no enemies. His kingdom was flourishing and thriving. He has a very beautiful wife, as Yogendra Prabhu was saying yesterday. He had wonderful children. All of them, he left them all behind without looking behind and went to the forest, to the ashram of Pulaha and Pulastya Muni out in the north, in the foothills of the Himalayas. Unfortunately, he did not take association from those sadhus who were in the ashram and he was practicing meditation on his own. He was very, very advanced and he reached a very high level of spiritual realization, as we can see from the Bhagavatam. He realized the level, just one level before Prema Bhakti. He was at Bhava Bhakti. He was very, very advanced personality. He got attached to one deer, as Yogendra Prabhu said yesterday. This deer was an orphan and he got attached. At the moment of his death, he thought of the deer. He became a deer. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, Prabhupada is quoting. Nishatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. So he did not remember Krishna despite the fact that he was such an advanced devotee. So it's a very amazing lesson for us. Cannot be complacent. We have to be very careful. Any case, even when he was in the body of a deer, he remembered his past life, that I was Maharaj Bharat. I left the whole kingdom and I got attached to a deer. Now I have the body of a deer. He was looking at himself, body of a deer. But he stayed in the ashram of Pula and Pulastya Muni at this time. Many Vaishnava sadhus, including those in ISKCON, have shown how he was actually one of the most attentive students of the Bhagavad Gita in the ashram while the young devotees were learning. Even in the body of a deer. He remembered that. He waited very patiently. He left his mother at a very young age and he came to the ashram and he waited till the end of life. There's nothing you can do once you have a body of a deer. He remembered and he remained there. And then he was born as Jada Bharata. He was not Jada in any respect, but he was known by the materialistic people as Jada. He was actually Bharat again, but he pretended to be very dull and useless. So he could not be trained in the Brahminical principles by his father. His brothers took advantage of him. He didn't mind. He said, I'm just experiencing the results of my past activities. So I'll just tolerate this. I don't want to forget Krishna ever again. Arna rebar. No, never again. I'm never going to forget Krishna again. Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Vismartavyo nijatuchit. Sarve vidhi nishedhayor etayor eva kinkara. So his father was trying to teach him Brahminical rules and regulations. But he's like, Sarve vidhi nishedhayor Etayor eva kinkara. I don't want to learn this karma kandiya stuff and all this, how to perform wedding ceremonies and all these things that my father is going to teach me. I don't want to do this. So he was even more careful. Asat Sangha Tyaga, a Vaishnava Achar. So he left behind. He was very afraid of being known as a brilliant person that he was. So he was kidnapped. He was kidnapped by some dacoits, and the dacoits decided to offer him as a sacrifice to Kali Devi. Uh, just before they did that, Kali Devi herself jumped out of her deity out of the deity form and finished those dacoits and set him free, set Jada Bharata free. Now he was not encumbered by even by his family members, his brothers and all this. So he started wandering around, and he was co-opted, voluntold. He was co-opted as one of the palanquin bearers of Maharaj Rahugana. And but while he was walking, he was not walking straight. He was looking at the ants, trying to avoid stepping on the ants. And it was a very bumpy ride for the king. So the king was very upset with this lowly palanquin bearer who is not walking straight and giving him discomfort to his royal body. So he first gave him a warning, and then he sarcastically said, some very terrible low class things. Sarcasm is like the worst kind of thing, especially among devotees. No sarcasm. Sarcasm is super dangerous. But you can see that when a person is sarcastic, then he's very frustrated in life. That's when they resort to sarcasm. When they start saying sarcastic thing, you have to know that this person is a very frustrated person. So you have to be very careful around them. So then Jada Bharat gave him an answer. The moment Maharaj Rahugana heard the answer, he understood that this person is a saintly person. He understood two things. From now we are going to look at today's verse. Okay. He realized two things. He realized that first of all, this person, very saintly person, very advanced, पहुंच गया है, बहुत दूर है. He is not on any earthly caliber. But I don't understand anything that he is saying to me because he's so advanced. I need some explanations. I need some purports. I need some classes. I need some Q&A sessions in order to understand what this great soul is telling me. So he fell at his lotus feet and he started asking him questions. So in this verse, Jada Bharat is speaking his past with great humility. Sometimes when devotees are new, they may not talk about what their past life was. It's not necessary also. But when a devotee is very advanced, then they have no problems talking to people about what terrible things they have done in the past and how the devotees have actually saved them. So, and humility begets humility. So because Jada Bharat was speaking out of humility throughout, Maharaj Rahugana, who was a very proud king of Saurashtra, Gujarat, modern day Gujarat and Rajasthan, he was, extremely materialistic person, but he somehow or the other, his heart melted just by hearing the words of Jada Bharat. So actually what Jada Bharat said to him in two main things that we should remember, right? When a spiritual master instructs us, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna instructed Arjuna, Avachan, he said, Prajnavadam se bhashase. You are speaking like a very learned person, but you are speaking like a fool. So spiritual master said, in this case, Jada Bharat said, you, my dear sir, Maharaj Rahugana, are a fool. But then he immediately said, but so was I. So that immediately, it produced a kind of, because you tell somebody they are a fool, they will get angry, but Rahugana did not get angry because Jada Bharat was in a deep humility. And he said, so I was. The true humility. The class that we heard yesterday, anybody who did not hear yesterday's class, please go and watch it online. Okay, because that kind of class nobody can give unless you have been practicing for 40, 50 years, Krishna consciousness. Unless you've been practicing carefully 40, 50 years, you can't give that kind of class. True humility, it reaches hearts. So it cannot be faked. You cannot fake it. You cannot pretend to be humble because people will detect tinges of other than humility. This was not like a self-deprecating thing. Like Jada Bharat was not saying something. He was just honestly acknowledging what happened in the past. So he was not like, saying any unnecessary things there. So it was very honest. So if somebody is very, very honest and very, very humble, then we can learn from them, not just learn from them the philosophy, but we can learn from them how to be humble. Because you can see that this person's behavior is amazing. He picks up when Bhaktimarg Swami Maharaj sees shoes out of place in ISKCON Toronto, picks up the shoes and puts them in the shoe shelf. If he sees that sink, the wash basin is clogged up, he rolls up his kurta, puts his hand in the sink, unclogs the drain. I saw that in 2004 and I was shocked. That I was walking past that day. It was Rath Yatra, hundreds of thousands of devotees in the temple room. And no, I had passed that sink so many times. People had put their plates, some plates were washed, some plates were unwashed. It's like festival time, like all kinds of people are in the temple. But Maharaj walked by the sink once. He saw that the sink is clogged. He rolled up his kurta and he put his hand in and unclogged the sink. When you see the actions of a really humble person, then you kind of, this is what I'm expected to do. If something needs to be done, just get it done. Don't wait for the person whose service it is to clean the sink to come and do the service. Because right now it's clogged. It's going to overflow any moment. The whole temple will get contaminated by all the stuff. So what is important for us to note is that due to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life even while in the body of a deer. Now, this is very, very significant. Sometimes we may not realize what the past of a particular living entity has been. They are in some kind of life form. Like in Srila Prabhupada's Leela, the devotees had a dog. And even now, these days, it happens. They put a bag around the dog's back, and they go out on Sankirtan, and a dog is going and wagging his tail to all the people who are sitting in the park. And the dog is so friendly that people cannot help but petting. In the Western countries, dogs are very, very loved, more than humans actually. They would do anything for a dog. They won't do anything for a human being. So the dog comes, wags his tail, standing there, and then the person is petting the dog, and on the back of the dog there is a bag. And inside the bag, there is a chant and be happy and a higher taste and perfection of yoga. And the dog is distributing books. So we don't know what is the previous life of that dog. We think it's a dog, but we see many videos like, of animals behaving in very interesting ways. So we cannot actually tell. But in this particular case, we know from the scripture, we don't have to speculate, that Maharaj Bharata has not forgotten his past life. Okay, so the one thing is, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like in the 15th chapter, and one of the key verses, 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smriti dhyana apohanam cha vedashya sarvair aham vedyo vedanta krid vedavideva chaham. Krishna says that I am the cause of forgetfulness and I am the cause of remembrance. So once when I was asking some question in one of the classes, my Guru Mata was giving a class, Mother Vishnu Priya, she was giving a class, and sometimes I have some questions which I cannot ask in the class. So I call her afterwards and ask her those questions. But I forgot my question by the time I called, because the class was still going on. Many other devotees were asking their classes. So I knew that I have to call and I have to ask my question. I called, and then, Guru Mataji, sorry, I forgot my question. And she said, who has made you forget? Do you know that who has made you forget? That means that question is not worth asking right now. So Krishna has made you forget. But in this particular case, Krishna arranged that even in the brain of a deer, the body of a deer, which is Jada, like it's really, deers are not very advanced in consciousness. No deer has written a bhashya on the Vedanta Sutra or something like that, right? But except for this Bharat Maharaj, who had taken the body of a deer, he remembered. So what is important is that he did not forget by Krishna's grace. So Krishna remembers. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like, Srila Prabhupada quotes, Neha Vikrama Nashvasti Pratyavayona Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. So when we are in the Krishna consciousness movement, we do strange things with people. We say, raise your hands and say Gauranga on the street. And the person is very self-consciously, somehow or the other, he raises his hands. Okay, don't raise your hand, just say Gauranga. We make them do strange things. Sometimes the books are sponsored, like we go out on book distribution and the books are sponsored. So really, technically speaking, we can give away the book. but we still try to claw out some money from them. $1, 25 cents, what do you have? Cigarette lighter? Okay, give me the cigarette lighter. We do this, and they think we are very strange, cheap people. What is this? Asking for a cigarette lighter. You guys smoke? No, we are going to use it for something else. But we do that just so that they can get some little bit of Sukriti, service to Krishna. We do strange things to people. We do all kinds of stuff. We insist that they take a little bit of prasad right now. And in the Western countries, it's very strange when you approach somebody with food and you say, you take a little bit right now. There is one devotee, Mother Kamala Gopi. Once she chases somebody, he will be initiated by the end of the session. So she doesn't leave anybody. She doesn't let anybody go. It doesn't matter who it is. We are feeling awkward. Mataji, chhod do isko, Mataji. He's feeling awkward. He said, no, you take prasadam, you take this card, chant, say this. I'm telling you to say, you're not saying. She yells at them because she's an elderly person. She's very, very, you can't, once you get in her orbit, you have to be Krishna conscious. She's a disciple of Jayabhataka Swami, a very senior devotee, very, very amazing person. But this is the nature of true realization. When people have true realization, then they don't care about like social niceties. My Guru Maharaj walking on the street, sees a drunk man or a drugged man. In Toronto, this is very common, walking around like this. But he says, hey, you, stop. Say Hare Krishna. And he says, say Hare Krishna, right now, you. If an ordinary person is there, they might think that we might get into a fight with this person. But the person will say Hare Krishna in front of such a person. So, when a person is really, truly realized, then they don't care about social niceties. They will preach to anybody in any form. They are passing through the airport, sees a garbage man. They just preach to everybody. See every soul. See Krishna in every soul. And how Krishna likes Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridyantasto Hibadrani, Vidunoti Surat Satam. The pure devotee and the realized soul sees Srinvatam Swakatha. Well, if he doesn't hear, at least I will get purified because Krishna will hear me chanting. Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Another nature of true realization is that when somebody makes a mistake, then they figure out how to eliminate the pattern that caused that mistake. Like Bilumangal Thakur, mother, can you give me your hairpin? These eyes are causing me problems. Seeing all kinds of things that are not to be seen. Pluck out these eyes. Don't care about how I'm going to Vrindavan now. Just pluck out the eyes. Then we'll see afterwards. Krishna will take care. Right? So, if someone is late for Mangalarti, for example, and they miss it, they miss Mangalarti, then if they understand the importance of Mangalarti, then they will eliminate all obstacles in their life to Mangalarti. They will make sure that they are rude to their family members and say, I need to go to bed now. They will make sure that they eat less the previous night. They will do whatever it takes to wake up in the morning, and somehow or the other they will come. They find out that the auto is not there, so they will start out 20 minutes earlier. They will do something or the other to avoid missing Mangalarti. But if there is no true realization, then the person will make the same mistake again and again. Prabhu, are you chanting 16 rounds now? No, Prabhu, sometimes 16, sometimes 6. But that person hasn't really understood the importance of chanting Hare Krishna yet, not yet true realization. So if they are serious, now this was a simple example, Mangalarti and all this, but there are serious things, like sometimes people make a big mistake, somebody does something that they are not supposed to do. Like I'm in Grahastha ashram, but I do something that I'm not supposed to do. Somebody is in Brahmacharya ashram, they do something they're not supposed to do. Then Krishna will still tell them, my dear sir, you have made a mistake. If I don't take action at that time, then Krishna will make my mistake known to some people around me. My close ashram residents, they will find out that this person has this problem. This is going on right now in the ashram. Like this can happen. If they are unable to get through to that person, then it will get more and more widespread. You know what? This fellow is stealing Sankirtan money. It will get more and more famous. Sometimes it gets so famous that the person loses all stature in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. They are forced to do certain things that are very, very insulting from an external perspective. But that is Krishna protecting his devotee just like he protected Jada Bharata. Krishna could have given him liberation. I mean, he preserved his memory. What is difficult for Krishna? Krishna can say, okay, fine, you got attached to a deer, little slap on the wrist, now you go back home to Vaikuntha. No, he wanted to make an example out of that devotee. So the more devoted a person is, if they make a mistake, the heavier their correction also is. So because it's not Krishna being vindictive and saying, you are my devotee and you're doing this, bringing a bad name to me. Not like that. It's like, no, you are dear to me. I want you to come back to me as soon as possible. So His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj says this about Arishtasura, Maharaj Chitraketu, not Arishtasura. What is that? Vritrasura. Vritrasura. Why did Vritrasura why did Chitraketu become Vritrasura? Kadamba Kanana Maharaj says, Krishna turned up the heat to cook him a little quicker. He just turned up the heat to cook him a little quicker. He says, oh, your people think that you're demoniac. Let's experience that. Become a demon, become the biggest possible demon. And then let's see. And you can see Vritrasura's statements are no less than the statements of any acharya in the statement. So we can understand that this person is still a devotee inside, even though in the body of a demon. Okay. So we have 17 more minutes. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna assures us, in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna assures us, he makes certain things clear to us, right? He says, first of all, he says, in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yogakshemam mahamyaham, ananyas chintayanto mam, yajana paripasate, tesham nityabhyuktanam, yogakshemam mahamyaham. It's not this nonsense Life Insurance Corporation of India, Yogakshemam mahamyam. It's real Yogakshemam mahamyam, right? Even if you forget to pay your premium to Krishna, like Maharaj Bharata did, his policy was intact. Not like this nonsense LIC. If you stop paying your policy, sir, your policy is lapsed, you are dead. I don't know, your policy is lapsed 3 years ago. No, but Krishna maintains his policy. You do a little bit of service. Srila Prabhupada says, Achyuta never forgets one little bit of service that somebody has done. So therefore, when we are out of Sankirtan, like some children want books. They don't have any money and they don't have the ability to get money also from their parents. So we say, bring a little rice from your home. Go and take a plastic bag, fill a little bit of rice and bring it from your home. They can do that without getting in trouble with their mothers. A little bit of rice, they won't miss. So the next morning we can bring the rice and offer it, the sweet rice that the devotees take. That child will get the benefit eternally. And when they finally become a devotee, they won't even realize that it was that rice that made them a devotee. That one handful or 2 handfuls of whatever amount of rice. Once a child gave me so much rice, the mother came looking for me to see what the child has done with the rice. Basically, the child took a plastic bag and emptied the whole drum of rice into the plastic bag and brought the rice to me. I said to the mother, no, this has been given to Krishna. I cannot return any of this rice. Your child has given this rice. Sorry. Here in Hyderabad, because it's difficult to do that in the West. But anyways, so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, so many other things he assures us, right, in the Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Dipena Bhaswata. He says that I give them the knowledge. So we can be assured that when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. You should not worry. You should really be Ma Shuchaha. Just perform devotional service wholeheartedly without reserving anything behind. Sometimes, we may think that, I need to preserve something for myself. We don't have to do it actually. And I noticed that when I noticed that myself, that when you really give without holding back, when you really give, then Krishna makes miraculous arrangements for everything else to be taken care of. You might think, like there are great stories of Tukaram, of Purandara Dasaru, like all of these wonderful Kanakadasa, like all of these wonderful bhakti saints who basically gave everything. Purandara Dasa was Navakoti Narayana. He gave everything in charity. When he decided to become a Haridas, he gave everything in charity. Did not keep, anything for his children or whatever. He took his children who were young, his wife, and they just began to go. And there is no story of Purandara Dasa ever suffering any kind of shortage in his life. There is no story of Tukaram suffering any shortage in his life. Whatever was required, was given to them by Krishna. So our spiritual masters, so Giriraj Swami Maharaj, son of a multi-millionaire, his father offered him $1 million to come back, leave the Krishna consciousness movement. I will put $1 million in your bank account tomorrow. And Giriraj Maharaj said, thank you, but no thank you. Huh? He said that. Right? He said, thanks, but no thanks. My spiritual master, right? His parents were like, yeah, it's okay that you're giving your life to God, but why not give your life to God in the Christian side of things? We are Christians. They were Protestant Christians. They didn't understand that back then. But my Guru Maharaj never worked. He's unfit to work in the corporate world. Like, he's so straightforward and so honest that he can never really succeed in any political situation. But his father set up a particular arrangement for him that he never has to work again in his life. Even though he disobeyed his father, went away, did not follow the instructions of his parents. The same thing happened with Vaishnava Prabhu, another spiritual master in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Just gave everything. At the age of 16, he told his mother, I want to go there. These people know what happens after death. So I want to go there. At the age of 16, his mother drove him. He was a professor at the University of California. She said, okay, this is what you want to do. She drove him to the temple, dropped him off and said, anytime you want to come back, right? We are here. And she became his first disciple. When he started initiating disciples, she was one of his first disciples. Not the first, but one of the first. She got initiated by her son. Just like Kapil Dev and Devahuti, same pastime and act. But he's not short of anything, right? Even today you can see he's like complete. He doesn't worry about money. Right? All our spiritual masters are like that. So we should be like that, just give to Krishna our life, our wealth, our energy, just give to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, you have spent so many lives trying to preserve it. Never you have managed to keep one paisa. Huh? But this lifetime, just give everything to Krishna and see what will happen. So that is Srila Prabhupada's message to us in this. Okay, so a quick summary of all of these verses is in the Lord Brahma's prayers in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this famous 10.14.8. Okay, Tatte anukampam susamikshamana bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvak vapurbhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak. We have to say, just because we have become a devotee, materially things are not suddenly going to change. We are in the material world. Things are going to be difficult. So at some time or the other, things are going to happen. Somebody's house may burn down. Somebody's family members may die. Somebody might lose their job. Different things will happen to devotees. It's not going to magically change into Dukhalayam is not going to become Sukhalayam. Dukhalayam is Krishna's statement. It will remain Dukhalayam. So, but if we remember that whatever I am experiencing is a token reaction of my past activities, just like Maharaj Bharata remembered, he did not forget Krishna. He says, what? I served you for 99.9% and you made me into a deer for that 0.01%. He did not say that. Vidadhan namaste. He was constantly remembering Krishna within his heart. So Krishna took care of him. Just like that, he took care of Gajendra. He took care of so many people, so many personalities. Proofs. They are full of proofs. The scripture is full of proof. So we have no reason to hold back from participating wholeheartedly in the Krishna consciousness movement. Nothing is stopping us, and we should definitely not stop ourselves from doing so. Okay? So with that, I will conclude and see if there are any questions, comments, or reflections. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. It's very inspiring to hear about how our spiritual masters, how they are completely dependent on Krishna.
Yeah, at the age of 20,
right?
At the age of 19, at
yes,
the age of 23,
yeah.
without clothes, amazing, without money, they were out on the street begging for 25 cents.
Yes.
People were insulting them like you cannot imagine.
Prabhu. How they can tolerate and all that going.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So my question is, Prabhu, so as practicing devotees, so like sometimes like you have like family members who are not practicing devotees. So we want to surrender, but they think like we are like living in fool's paradise. By if we try to explain this kind of
Don't try to explain.
no, we don't, but they might think. So how do we like balance that? I mean,
Radhesham Prabhu gives the formula a couple of years ago. So he had one uncle who he had just put on saffron, become brahmachari, and his uncle wanted to give him some gyan when he came in contact with him. And he was telling him that you should not do this, you should do this, you should not do this, you should not do this. He was giving so much upadesh. Everything against the principles of Krishna consciousness.
Krishna, yeah.
How you should take care of your family members. All his family members are fine, by the way.
Fine, yeah, yeah.
Some of them are in Canada also. Everybody is fine.
Mm.
Krishna has taken care of everybody, right? But Radhesham Prabhu did not counter anything to what the uncle said. He just heard him out carefully, nodded his head, said, yes, yes, what you are saying makes sense.
Okay.
In his mind, he was probably thinking, makes sense not to me, it's for someone else. Huh? Because I've already chosen where I'm going.
Yeah.
So like that, we don't need to, I had written this as one of the points, we don't need to seek confrontation. You know, I recently heard classes by Gurudas Prabhu, one of the 6 sent to London. He had come to one festival near Toronto and in Toronto also, and so he gave some amazing classes. He says, there is, in the material world, there's too much tapasya as it is. You know, it's very difficult. Like life is very difficult. You don't have to take on more than what is already there. So there's no need to get into confrontations.
So just tolerate and
just tolerate it. You do your thing. Ultimately, there will reach a point in your life when you are no longer responsible for such persons. Just like Prabhupada was no longer responsible for persons who were not Krishna conscious. They were all Krishna conscious, Prabhu. Yes, here Prabhupada's family members were not non-devotees. Yes. But they are not Krishna conscious at his level.
Yes.
So at a certain point, he says,
it's Krishna's arrangement and he accepted it. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribo.
Only till certain point. Basic responsibilities, then. Is there anything else? Comments, questions? Mataji there? Anybody here? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhubhyasya, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namo, Ananta Koti Vaishnavendra ki, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki. That's exactly what he said.